In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at the current conditions and also diving into the upcoming pattern. We do have a lot of storminess on the way for the eastern half of the nation. And as you all might know, there is a warm-up coming up. It's hard to believe right now, but in the coming days, as we approach the end of December into early January, things will be getting significantly warmer than they are now. And not only that, it'll actually be pretty warm in general, maybe even hot for some areas. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But towards the 9th, towards the 10th of January, and even beyond, there is some signs that we will be moving back in the cold direction, moving back towards a cold pattern. And I'm going to talk about all of that within this video. Let's spend a little bit of time here, though, talking about the current conditions. And as you can see, there is some storminess moving into the western United States, and then we have some rainfall and snowfall showers around here across the eastern United States. We're going to talk about all these areas. You can tell the jet stream is doing this, diving southward right here, and that's why we have this extremely cold air just diving into the eastern half of the nation. And then we have a very warm ridge taking place here for the west. Let's just take a look at our northwest regions of the United States real quickly, and then we'll take a look at the southeast. But there's a huge ridge out west, like I mentioned, and that's why we're seeing very warm precipitation here. Not a lot of snowfall in this. Even for the northern Rockies, we're seeing some rainfall here, which is very odd. Idaho, Montana, doesn't even matter. The very, very extreme elevation areas are seeing some snowfall here, like our northern Cascades, which are extremely tall mountains. And then also some of these mountains in between Montana and Wyoming at times have had some snowfall. Those are our tallest mountains around. Everywhere else, though, is going to be all rain here. As we work our way towards the east, we can see that northern Mississippi, meanwhile, and Alabama are seeing some snowfall showers in northern Georgia, as opposed to the northern Rockies seeing rainfall. Who would have believed that if you would have told them like 2 weeks ago that this is what would be happening? But sure enough, here we are. We have snowfall showers stretching up from Mississippi. I don't know why I messed that one up so bad. Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, and up through Pennsylvania as well. That's the main swath of this snow showery region. Could spread a little bit further eastward here into this pocket here, but it looks like it's going to likely break up for the most part. We still have some lingering lake effect snowfall, as unfortunately many folks have died in Buffalo, New York from this blizzard plus polar vortex combination. And there might even be deaths for other areas as well. That's how extreme these conditions have been. So we're obviously all hoping that that all comes to an end and that the extreme conditions go ahead and subside, because it is leading towards real life problems and real life impacts. If you think about it, people were lost on Christmas Day. That is just an absolute tragedy, and I was so sad and sorry to hear all of that. Just a devastating situation for sure. But there is still snowfall, unfortunately, happening for a lot of the Great Lakes here. As this situation subsides, again, we're going to be dealing with a big, nice winter thaw and big warm-up towards the end of the month and early into next month. That should really make up for how terrible these conditions have been across the eastern United States as a whole. Now, we'll take a look at southern Florida here real quickly, because there is some moisture heading through, as you can see, southern Florida here. This is mostly showery activity, as conditions, believe it or not, are actually quite cool here in southern Florida. So this is more like showers rather than their typical tropical type thunderstorms that are taking place. Now what we're going to do is move on and take a look at the upcoming pattern, because again, there's a whole lot to talk about, and we're going to go over all of this. Now here we are talking about the upcoming pattern. We're taking a look at later on, even into this evening, and we see that there is some of these snow showers lingering up here for the Ohio Valley and some similar regions across the Appalachian Mountains as well. Here we can see along that range we're seeing some of these spotty snow showers also. Still, we're stuck in a pattern that looks something pretty much like this. So this is a very deep, cold air mass in place. You can walk outside and feel it. I don't even have to tell you. I don't know why I am. Matter of fact, we have warm air in the west, and again, that's another thing you can just feel if you walked outside. We do see that there is some storminess moving onshore to the northwest here, and this will basically be what cuts through this pattern and breaks it apart. We see snowfall now, which means that things are at least colder than they were today by the time we're reaching into tomorrow, kind of around noontime, I would say. The Sierra Nevadas, the Cascades, the northern Rockies seeing snowfall. Lower elevation areas seeing some rainfall at this point. By the time we're reaching into Wednesday around noontime, we have plenty of snowfall happening for a lot of these Rocky Mountain ranges. And basically the jet stream is now doing this. So a huge difference between Monday today and Wednesday the 28th here. That's going to be night and day as far as this pattern is concerned, because it's going to allow warm air to shove its way up and really start to warm things up and push the cold out. By the time we're reaching Thursday here, what we can see is some snowfall happening across the west still, and now across the north central United States as well taking place. And that moves up. We see our next storm system for the east taking place here by the time we're reaching about Saturday the 31st, New Year's Eve. So we see a lot of storminess shoving, again, its way up into the eastern portions of the nation. And out west, we also have a major storm system bringing snowfall for these higher elevation areas as well. So 2 major storms across the nation. And then by the time we're reaching New Year's Day, this does take on some characteristics of a nor'easter, developing a low here. But it's too warm for any sort of major snowstorms. It's going to be mostly a wind and rain event, it appears, on New Year's Day. Then by the time we're reaching Tuesday the 3rd of January here, 2023, I can't believe we're approaching that. We have a major low pressure system here across Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and this looks to have a strong cold front underneath it and a warm front here. And this could cause some windy conditions, some severe weather here across this southern extent. I am watching for that as the storm moves up above. This is the pocket we're watching in here. You see it starts out on Monday, January 2nd here with some potential severe weather for Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas there. As we continue on, though, towards that next day, Tuesday, we see it spreads across this area here for Tuesday, from the deep south all the way up to the Ohio Valley, perhaps. And even then there on Wednesday, Tuesday and a Wednesday, we have another bit of a low developing and potentially some severe weather here for the southeast regions of the United States. And this is basically where we're left off in the pattern here. We do see more storminess out west happening. We see a flatter jet stream out west and potentially a trough trying to move eastward here. As this low is trying to move up with the jet stream, we could have a bit of a snowstorm situation in this area from this low as well. But this cold has kind of been, I would say, making its way eastward, or at least trying to sneak its way eastward. But we're going to have to wait and see. Now, total precipitation through the next 10 days. This is what we're taking a look at here. Anywhere in the whites, practically no precipitation. Your grays, 1/10 of an inch or less. Your greens, 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Blues, 1/2 inch to an inch. Your yellows, 1 inch to 2 inches. Reds, 2 to 5 inches there. Browns, 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. And then your blues are going to be 10 to 15 inches of precipitation. And we see that out there for the Sierra Nevadas. Definitely going to be a lot of rainfall and snowfall happening out there. Now, the total snowfall through the next 10 days, this is what we would be taking a look at here. Anywhere in the grays, a dusting, if anything. Blues, 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purple, 6 to 10. Pinks, 10 to 20 there. Pastel blues, 20 to 35. And your pastel pink's going to be 35 to 48 inches plus. If you look at your bottom right hand corner of your screen, you can see it says max 215.9. What that means is there's somewhere in here 215 inches is potentially expected, but definitely expected by this model as of now. Certainly a whole lot of snowfall, 215 inches. I can't even imagine that. Now, the temperature pattern. We're obviously left with very, very frigid air in place right now. But again, as we approach about the 28th, we're going to see that warm moving in, more seasonable, but it's going to feel very warm here along the east. And we're going to get very warm by the time we're reaching about New Year's Day into New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, I guess. Here's New Year's Day. And in these gray areas, we're about 15 to 25 degrees above normal. So certainly a huge difference going from 15 to 25 degrees below normal to 15 to 25 degrees above normal. That's possibly a 50-degree swing, and that's significant. And as we continue on, we see this warmth continues on all the way through the 4th of January here. This is by the time we're reaching the 8th. But this is when the cold wants to start to spread eastward. We start to see more neutral, wintry conditions moving in by about the 9th, 10th time frame. That'll be a Monday, Tuesday, during the second week of January, basically. And we're going to be watching this extremely closely here. So we will be the first to know when winter is going to return. But right now we have signs that around the 9th, 10th that could be taking place. Anyway, be sure to subscribe, as we will be going over all of these things every single day. You can also hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we do upload. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.